The moment his ACL gave way, the searing pain sent Jimmy Butler into uncontrollable screams. He even let a curse slip. In that instant, he looked utterly vulnerable, yet he still tried to stay on the floor for his free throws, cracking a joke or two to lighten the mood for his teammates. When he pulled himself upright, it was as if he put the tough guy armor back on, an exaggerated expression, forcing out a smile, pretending nothing had happened. But the right knee that could no longer generate force shattered that illusion immediately. Warriors fans are all too familiar with this kind of injury. It was this same torn ligament that once cost Klay Thompson 2 full seasons right at the peak of his career. If Butler is ultimately diagnosed with a torn ACL, then not only the Warriors' remaining season, but potentially the rest of Steph Curry's championship window, could be wiped out entirely. Butler is already 36 years old, and there's a real chance we may never see him fully return, because long before this moment, his right knee had already taken years of punishment. In 2016, an MCL sprain in the right knee. In 2018, a torn meniscus. In 2023, chronic knee inflammation. And in 2024, another MCL sprain to the same knee. Taken together, these are injuries capable of ending a career. And compared to the pain of the tear itself, the long road to recovery is often even more brutal. With Butler ruled out for the season, the Warriors' world collapsed. This season, Butler appeared in 38 games for Golden State, averaging 20 points, 5.6 rebounds, 4.9 assists, and 1.4 steals, with efficiency numbers near the top of the league. When Butler was on the floor, the Warriors outscored opponents by 6.8 points per 100 possessions. When he was off, they were outscored by 3.9. That on-off swing was even larger than Curry's. He was the indispensable connective tissue of the Warriors' system. Offensively, Butler's presence allowed Golden State to evolve from pure Curry gravity into a true dual-engine attack. When Curry was trapped, Butler could shoulder the playmaking load. He possessed the kind of self-creation ability that, aside from Curry, is rare on this roster. Even against tight coverage, he still posted an effective field goal percentage north of 50%. At the same time, his drive and kick game generated a steady stream of perimeter looks, averaging 10.7 potential assists per game, best on the team. Defensively, Butler was the Warriors' most reliable perimeter stopper, and the ideal partner next to Curry. But with Butler sidelined, the carefully constructed two-star framework collapsed instantly, forcing the Warriors back into a Curry-only model. That means a 37-year-old Curry now faces heavier defensive attention and longer minutes. In the 5 games Butler has missed, the Warriors went just 1-4. Even more concerning is the non-Curry minutes. Previously, Butler could carry the offense on his own, but now there is no one who can truly fill that role. The defensive fallout is even more severe. Without Butler, the Warriors no longer have a dependable wing defender capable of consistently checking elite forwards. Against wing-heavy teams, the defensive burden will spike dramatically. Schemes Steve Kerr once built around Butler's defensive versatility will now lose much of their effectiveness. Opponents will inevitably target these weaknesses again and again. More importantly, Butler's toughness and competitive edge, the intangible stuff, can't be captured by numbers. His teams are disciplined, resilient, and mentally hardened, a winning culture that raises the floor and thrives in pressure moments. In the game he was injured, Butler played just 21 minutes yet still poured in an efficient 17 points. In crunch time, it was his scoring bursts and physical defense that kept Golden State alive. That injury completely derailed the Warriors' front office plans. Jonathan Kuminga had already requested a trade, but now the Warriors are forced to reassess everything. Kuminga is expected to be reintegrated into the rotation, partly due to the lack of wing depth, and partly to boost his trade value. However, while Kuminga brings elite athleticism and defensive energy, His inconsistent shooting and limited playmaking leave clear gaps, making him unable to replicate Butler's impact. With Butler down, the Warriors' championship window suddenly looks dangerously fragile. Curry is 37. Draymond Green is 35. This season was supposed to be their final, all-in push together, but now it risks dissolving into nothing. For years, Butler built a reputation as one of the league's toughest competitors, and despite changing teams multiple times, he had largely avoided major injuries. His regular season production was often underwhelming, but come playoff time, Butler never disappointed. Last season, his arrival instantly elevated the Warriors into a legitimate postseason threat. If not for Curry's injury, they might well have reached the Western Conference Finals. That same belief fueled optimism around the Warriors team hovering around 8th in the West this season. Curry and Butler are not the same type of player, but they share striking similarities. Both are routinely underestimated during the regular season, questioned, doubted, even forgotten, only to repeatedly prove themselves on the playoff stage. As long as a team has Butler and Curry, it retains the possibility of something extraordinary. That confidence is what gave the Warriors the nerve to put young players like Kuminga and Moses Moody on the trade block. Now, Butler's injury threatens to rewrite the franchise's trajectory entirely. From Miami to Golden State, Butler has faced no shortage of skepticism. Some argue that 20 points per game doesn't justify a $60 million salary. And while his playoff style remains punishing, it's fair to say Butler is no longer at his physical peak. That reality is precisely why Miami hesitated to offer him a max contract. The hope was that next to Curry, he could be the final championship piece, but now injuries seem to be tearing everything apart. As fans, all we can do is hope Butler's injury isn't as severe as feared. Because if a 36-year-old is officially diagnosed with a torn ACL, the odds of his career ending early are painfully high. From Kevin Durant to Klay Thompson, and now Butler, watching teammate after teammate fall, Curry might understandably curse the cruelty of fate. But this is the unforgiving nature of professional sports. Across season after season, injuries remain the greatest enemy of every athlete. Before he went down, Butler had completely shifted the Warriors' trajectory last season. In the playoffs, he and Curry pulled off a historic number 7 seed run. This year, Butler led the team in minutes played and ranked first in plus-minus. When Curry was hurt, Butler carried the Warriors. That's why his collapse didn't just wound the season, it nearly destroyed it, leaving the future unresolved. There's only 1 month left before the trade deadline. In less than 2 months, Curry will turn 38. This season, he's shooting his lowest three-point percentage in nearly 4 years. He's already suffered 2 injuries, yet still earned an All-Star starting spot. But the wear of time is becoming impossible to ignore. Some things feel almost predestined, fragile like a bubble waiting to burst. A year ago, the Warriors traded for Butler from Miami. 1 year later, on the night Andrew Wiggins returned home, they lost Butler too. The storyline has veered sharply away from expectations. This is a man who has been battered by life time and again, yet never bowed, born to fight forward. Nothing truly keeps him down. And that's exactly why his story remains so compelling, because with him, anything still feels possible.